Assalamu alaikum. Peace to the gods, peace to the earths, and all of the righteous families of the planet. It's your big brother Fahiym, aka Day Son of Law, back again with another bill. Jumping back off into the lessons. Today I want to deal with the third question in the Lost Found Muslim lesson number 1. Why did we let half original man Columbus discover the poor part of the planet Earth? Let's get into it. Answer. Because the original man is the God and owner of the earth and knows every square inch of it and has chosen for himself the best part. He did not care about the poor part. Columbus was a half original man and born in Italy, which is southeast Europe. His full name was Christopher Columbus, and the place he discovered was North America. He found the Indians here who were exiled 16,000 years ago from India. They are original people. So as we jump off into this degree, and I look in my book of life at my breakdowns, the question is, why did we let half original man Columbus discover the poor part of the planet Earth? Answer. In my breakdowns, I say, because the original man is the God and owner of the earth and knows every square inch of it and has chosen for himself the best part. This degree is akin to the first question asked in the student enrollment. Who's the original man? The supreme being black man is the owner of the planet Earth because it is like an appendage of his physical body. He was created from the earth's rich soil and formed into a perfect mold of human structure. He was connected to the planet mentally, physically, and spiritually. Therefore, when the black race is troubled, the planet is troubled. The earth has a wobble in it right now because the black man is out of alignment with his own true self, which is righteousness. The original man also knows every square inch of the planet because he is the God who formed it from the elements of the universe. After he formed the planet and created himself a physical body so his spirit could move about, he studied his surroundings by traveling to the ends of the planet and choosing for himself the best part, which is in the direct center of the planet, close to the top of the Nile River, to call home. That place is in Mecca, Arabia, which is the root of civilization. So Arabia, Mecca, Arabia, or as the Kaaba, where the Muslims go to make pilgrimage, which is an allegory. It's a metaphor. It's symbolizing or pointing to something else. It's a sign of something else. But the Kaaba sits in the direct center of the planet, which is, as human beings have a chakras, the planet Earth has a chakras. So the original man chose that part of the earth for himself because we knew that it was rich in mineral wealth, agricultural wealth, plenty of greenery all over the continent, plenty of fresh water. I mean, the Nile River is like no other river on the planet. Many different things that the original man looked at that part of the world and chose for himself as the best part, or the choicest part, where he would begin building his high civilizations. The thing about this is, it's not that the original man didn't have civilization anywhere else, but it's almost like how we hear our brothers in the Nile Valley civilization teachings, some of our Kemetic Hotep brothers, they speak, when they speak of Egypt or ancient Kemet, they speak of it as it was the greatest thing ever. It was the only thing the black man ever did in antiquity. It's the greatest symbol of high civilization ever. No, it actually wasn't. Ancient Egypt or Kemet was a very advanced civilization, but there were other civilizations on the planet founded by the original man that we buried once we knew that the Caucasian man time of rule was coming. We buried civilization along with other things as well because we didn't want him, the white man, to steal off of our wisdom, which he does anyway, you know, all throughout slavery, chattel slavery in America. You know, I was building with somebody about that the other day. The black man would create this or build this and because we were slaves, we were property, you know, that the white man owned. Well, naturally, if a thought or idea came from our mind to create something, they took the credit for it. You a nigga. You can't have no patents. You can't have no, you know what I'm saying? You know, that's for us to do, not you niggas. You niggas just get the job done. Get out there, nigga, and pick that cotton, pick that tobacco, you know what I'm saying? Over in the West Indies, cut that sugar cane, cut that, you know, get out there and do the work. But I don't care how you get it done. I just know you got from sun up to sunset to get out there and do it, whatever way that you can come up with to do it more efficiently, more, you know, expeditiously, you know, more, you know what I'm saying? Whatever you choose, you do that. But guess what? At the end of the day, we own it. You don't. So that's just the nature of the Caucasian white man. He's never created or built anything. Civilization, nothing. The only civilization that the white man could say he built was really not even Europe. I was going to say maybe some of the, you know, civilizations in Europe, but even the original people, the black people, we built that. The only thing that he can probably take credit for is building weaponry, because this is how his mind operates. His mind operates where the original man would say, oh man, you know, I could take this bottled water and I could produce life. I could do something with it to further civilization or whatever. The Caucasian mind thinks like, I could take this water and I can kill millions of people with this one bottle of water. If I spike it or put a chemical in there, I can kill millions. I can weaponize this bottle and make it toxic, you know, make it a toxicity to the planet. This is the thinking of the God versus the devil. The gods think of building. The devil thinks of destroying and tearing down. So clearly two different humans, two different sets of human beings. The black man and the black woman. And when I say the black man, I'm talking about the black woman as well, because the black man and the black woman, because we're mammals, we're really one and the same. The black man is a god, the black woman is a god, because she is the second self of the black man. So if the black man and the black woman are out of alignment with righteousness, it causes a wobble in the earth. It causes certain things on the planet to act in an irregular manner. You know, when we look at the weather, when we look at the conditions of the planet, we can see that it hasn't always been like this. I remember when we was kids, we used to run outside and play in the sun and, you know, for hours. And really hardly even drank water. Because from as far as I can remember, when I was like 10, 11, 12, 13, yeah, your parents would tell you, yeah, drink water, whatever, whatever. But we would run around and play in the sun for hours without even taking a drink of water. And the environment wasn't as detrimental as it is today. But because the Caucasian man has polluted the planet to such a high degree, it's caused the original people of the planet to live other than their own self. He did not care about the poor planet. The original man does not care for the poor part because the worst portion, because it's the worst portion and there is no good in it. The worst part was kept for the evil white race who will soon be destroyed and annihilated from off of our planet. They are the only people who are just passing through. They're not going to be here for long. White people are not going to be here forever. They are not like the original people. This is why the Holy Quran tells us to not be conformed to the wickedness of this world and its ways. In the Holy Quran, it's called a transitory world. Something that's in transit means that it's still moving. It hasn't stopped yet. It hasn't reached a destination yet. So don't be so, engulfed in this wicked man's world and what you see. Most of the prophets referred to it as a transitory world as well. The poor part also means sinful white flesh. The black body is the best absorber of all energy in the universe. The white body rejects and repels the natural light of the sun and all forms of energy. So now we deal with the science of the best part, the worst part. In terms of the planet Earth, the best part, as we mentioned, is in Mecca, Arabia, or in the East. The worst part was said to be over here, where I'm at right now, in the wilderness of North America. It's called a wilderness for a reason. This land was always a desolate place throughout Asiatic history. The Caucasian white man, in terms of physicality, white flesh is the worst part. We settled on the best part of the planet. As we all know, we're spiritual beings, but in order to see that spirit or see that energy, it has to be encased in human flesh. Is that right? The melanated black body of the original people is the best form that the original man or the God chose to make himself known in, because it's carbon based. Melanin is a biopolymer. It has the highest absorption rate in our universe. Anything within the light spectrum we can absorb and transmit and emit back out into the world in the form of information. So we're like natural conductors of electromagnetic energy, the supreme being black man. So Allah, God, chose the black body to make himself known, not the white body, because this is known as sinful flesh. Because the Caucasian white man has a lack of melanin, he's more prone to adapt to sinful ways. Anything that is considered sin is something that is out of alignment with nature, with the natural way and order of life. In other words, to give you a better example, if I like to go and have sex with men versus having sex with women, this is something that is sinful. This is something that is not natural. It's immoral for the human being to act in such manner. So therefore, what I do is I ultimately destroy self and kind. Allah cuts off your loins are cut. Your seed has been poisoned. Your seed has been desecrated to the point now to where you won't be able to reproduce and show and prove man, woman, and child, which is the holy flag of Islam, sun, moon, and stars. You won't be able to look to produce that all you're going to produce is death. And pretty much once you go into the grave, you and your homosexual lover, guess what? That's the end of that. Because what you were doing it wasn't a natural thing to do to begin with. It's the best way I could put it, the most simplest way, you know. Columbus was a half original man and born in Italy, which is southeast Europe. Columbus was a half original man because he was half black and half white. Who knew that? How many of our newborns knew that? Columbus wasn't just a pure white man, and he wasn't a pure black man. He was half original in his physical body. In Italy, there are blacks who have been there since the Moors first conquered and ruled Spain under the leadership of Hannibal. In Sicily, the Italians have woolly hair and a darker skin complexion than the rest of the white population who lived there. Columbus was a Sicilian and was oppressed by his own people because the Italians hated everything and anything having dark skin that resembled the Moorish Muslim rulers that once conquered and ruled them over them. Italy is located in southeast Europe. So, I remember growing up in New York, in Brooklyn, when I went to New Utrecht High School. Whoever knows about in Brooklyn, New York, New Utrecht High School is in the heart of Bensonhurst, Brooklyn. So back when Yusuf Hawkins was murdered and a lot, one of the Italian white boys who shot Yusuf Hawkins was in my math class. You know what I'm saying? Joey Fama and some of these other individuals. These individuals hate black folk. They hate black people. But guess what? There's black people over in Italy that are like my complexion and probably darker than me. They're over there. But the thing is, they're ostracized from society because white people have a hatred, a natural hatred. And it's a hatred that's been going on for centuries. They hated when the black Muslim guards came over there and pretty much took over their land. They weren't doing anything with it. So the original man went over there and began to build civilization. We conquered them. They were in the caves. They barely had the right weaponry and stuff to defend themselves against the original Moorish rulers. But we were able to come over and conquer their land. But this is the difference between whites and blacks. When we conquered over the white people, we didn't put them in chattel slavery and we didn't dehumanize them. They dehumanized themselves. All we took from them was our literature. That's it. So the first white people who went over into the caves and hillsides of Europe spoke Arabic. They spoke the Arabic language. But because the Caucasian man has a lack of melanin, see, we go back to the melanin again. This shows how you are original people and how you are binded to the planet Earth. They're not bound to the planet in that sense. It's almost like a ground wire. They're not grounded to this planet like the original people, so therefore the original language of mathematics, Arabic, Arabia, or Hebrew, or whatever the case may be, they lost that and came up with a new language. We get Latin now, Latin Vulgate, and then from that came many other European languages, English, French, Spanish, all these other, English is the newest language on the planet, but we took our literature from them, and the Caucasian man basically dehumanized himself. We had people to dehumanize us, but he dehumanized self. That's the difference in that situation. His full name was Christopher Columbus, and the place he discovered was North America. His real name was pronounced Cristobal Colom. Cristobal Colom in Italian. He was not the first, however, to discover the Caribbean islands nor the Americas. The first people to settle there were the original black people of the planet. As mentioned before, he traveled the entire, as mentioned before, we traveled the entire earth after we made it and chose for ourselves the best part. That part was considered the best and the most fertile, and it was in Arabia or Northeast Africa and the lands of Kush and Nubia, better known today as Ethiopia, or Abyssinia, as they would call it during the time of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and the Sudan, parts of that, and Chad. The righteous would isolate the idolaters or the idolaters from the rest of the world and place them in the north corner of the planet. The first European to discover America for the rest of the white population, or the white Caucasian white people, was an Italian man by the name of Amerigos Vespucci. Amerigos Vespucci. So this is an understanding of Christopher Columbus. And, well, Christopher Columbus had Moors on his ship with him. He had black Muslim guards on his ship with him when he set sail. He had gotten lost several times because, as we know, prior to 1492 or the 13th century, the Caucasian white man never left from out of Europe. And we didn't go, original people didn't sail around that part, near those shores, because we knew that those people were cannibals. They were savages. They were barbarians. They were, brutes of nature. Anything they see, they take. Anybody they see that they feel disconnect from, they kill and maim the body. I mean, these people were savages. They were animals. So this is the reason why they were kept off into the north corner of the planet. He found the Indians here who were exiled 16,000 years ago from India. The people, the first whites called Indians, were living over here 16,000 years before Columbus or any other white man set sail and ventured out of Europe. There were many blacks still living over here with great civilizations stretching from North to South America, with the mighty Olmec civilizations, the Olmec gods, the rulers of the Atlantis or the Atlantean Amexem, and other Moorish kingdoms over here in this country or this piece of continent. The so-called Indians had over 2,000 different tribes living throughout the Americas before the arrival of the white man. And the first act of foreign terrorism was committed on U.S. soil. So the Native Americans, whom we call Indians, or who Christopher Columbus and some of the first white settlers referred to as Indians, were already over here. This place, again, was considered not the best part of the planet, but the worst part. The best part was over in the east, in Mecca, Arabia, or Northeast Africa. The worst part was over here in the wilderness of North America, because it was more so a desolate land where not too much You can only grow certain produce. You can only grow certain. You couldn't grow any tropical type of produce like you would in the Caribbeans or in Central or South America or in Africa. So this land was always a land that the original black gods, we used this land over here in America as a sort of isolation, put you in solitude or confinement. You were confined or detained, if you will, over here. And we did this to the Native Americans or the Indians. They are original people, but we exiled them because they were worshiping many different gods. They had gotten away from the practice that Krishna, the black god Krishna, had left for them. So thousands of years later, now they veer off and begin worshiping everything as a god beside Allah. That's a god. That's a god. That's a god. This is a god. This is a god. This is a god. You a god. You a god. You know, everything, you know, and they went crazy. So we, the rulers of the planet, the rightful rulers, we exiled them 16,000 years before Columbus, Amerigo Vespucci, or any other Caucasian white man set sail. They were already placed over here on this land. They are original people. The tribes that were here before the coming of the white man were all one family. The red man and the black man are family, and both are the aboriginal people of the planet Earth. So those are our family. The aboriginal people, the Native Americans, the red man. In fact, everybody on the planet is our family except for the Caucasian white man. And this is the reason why the question is asked in our lessons, why does the devil call our people African? You know, because he doesn't want you to think that nobody else is related to you. Just those people that we call Africans, and because you're African American, you see the connection there? You two are connected. He's African, you're African American, that's it. Nobody else you ain't connected to, when that's not true. The red man, the yellow man, every race of color is family on the planet. Melanin denotes color. The Caucasian man has an absence of melanin. So this phenotype that's on our planet right now, this Caucasoid, is not original. He's not of the original nation. He is not a member of our family in no way, shape, or form. Only, as Prophet Muhammad or the Honorable Elijah Muhammad says, is in faith. If he puts his evil practice or his evil nature aside and goes against that evil nature and tries to live righteous as the original black gods live righteous, then he can be my brother, but only in faith, not by nature. Because he was not born out of this universe and from out of the soil, the rich black soil of this planet, as the original man. So with that being said, family, I don't want to take too much time with this bill, but I hope you got something out of this study today. We'll be delving back more into the lessons, inshallah, in the very near future. But with that being said, I'd like to leave the brotherhood as I came in the greeting words of peace. We say it in the Arabic language. Assalamu alaikum. Peace to the gods, peace to the earths, and all of the righteous families of the planet.